3.
Theatrical swordplay, on the other hand, the goal is to tell a story, and everything that you do feeds into the goal of telling a story. You don't want to hit the other person because that actually gets in the way of it. You might have to stop filming or stop the play, or certainly if you're doing a play and you're putting the other actor in danger, it ruins it for the audience. They sense that and they start worrying about an actor instead of sitting back and enjoying a story. In film, we don't so much have that issue because if anybody really got hurt in the making of the film, we would have read about it in the newspaper months ago. But even so, if you hurt somebody in the course of making a film, obviously filming has to stop and maybe we can't use that actor again and the whole thing's a mess. So hurting somebody or even touching somebody with your weapon gets in the way of the overall goal of telling a story. To tell the story successfully, you have to protect the other person. And you have to make sure that everybody who watches it, whether they're in a theater audience or at home watching TV, that everybody sees everything you do, that nobody misses any of the story. Every move in a sword fight is like a line in a play or a line in a film. And just like an actor isn't going to throw away lines and say them so quickly and mumble them that people don't get them, you don't want to do that with moves either. You want to make sure that every move has a beginning, a middle, and an end. You see what you're about to do before you do it, you see what I'm doing while I'm doing it, and you know what I did right after I did it. That tells the story. In the sport of fencing, that's the complete opposite of what you want to do. You want to be seen to be, you want your poker face on in a bout on the strip. And nobody should see what you're about to do. That's called telegraphing, and it's a bad thing in the sport. And when you do it, it should happen so fast that the other person didn't even see it coming. Which is why the sport fencing doesn't have as big a following as some other sports, because you actually need to have a really quick eye to follow a sport fencing bout. If you were to take a sport fencing bout and drop it in the middle of Peter Pan, you'd lose your audience because nobody knows what's happening. People want to see that Peter Pan is about to take out Captain Hook. And as an actor, you make physical choices which tell parts of the story. Your movements might be bigger and more labored later in the fight. Or if you're, the world's expert swordsman, you might never give that away, and you might always have these sort of smaller, more calm movements. If we see two people in the same fight and one of them is calm and doing small movements and the other one is breathing heavily and doing enormous movements, without knowing anything else, we already know something about this story. These are the choices that you make when you're creating a sword fight for film, which is completely different from what you're doing when you're on the fencing strip trying to score a point.